I never thought a single laugh could cut to me like a blade, but that evening, it did. My name is Ethan, and for 6 years I'd been with Lena, the woman I once believed I'd spend my whole life with. Our relationship had seen ups and downs like anyone else's, but lately, something was different. Or maybe I was finally seeing what had been there all along. It was her birthday dinner. Nothing extravagant, just a group of her friends gathered at a rooftop bar downtown. I had planned small surprises throughout the day for her. Handwritten notes, her favorite pastries, a playlist of songs that mattered to us. I wasn't trying to be flashy. I was just trying to show up the way I always did. But the moment that changed everything happened when I walked back from the bar with our drinks. Lena was laughing with her friends, head tilted back, wine glass in hand. I slowed down when I heard my name, an instinct more than curiosity. One of her friends, Emily, asked, "So what did Ethan do for your birthday? Anything special?" Lena didn't even hesitate. She laughed, not a soft laugh, a loud, dismissive, cutting laugh. Then she said the sentence that rewired something inside me. "Ethan? Please. He never surprises me. He's predictable. Sweet but boring." The group giggled. My name left their mouths like I was a joke on a late-night show. And she didn't correct them. She didn't defend me. She didn't even look uncomfortable. She just shrugged and took another sip of wine. I stood there, drinks in hand, frozen. A part of me hoped she'd turn around, see me, and realize what she'd said. Another part of me was grateful she didn't, because the humiliation in my chest was too raw to hide. I placed the drinks on the table, without a word. She glanced at me, smiling casually, completely unaware I had heard every syllable. "Hey, babe, everything okay?" she asked, slipping her arm around mine. "Yeah," I replied, forcing a smile. "Everything's perfect." But something had shifted, and no amount of pretending could undo it. Later that night, when we got home, she acted like everything was normal. She kicked off her heels, complained about how loud the bar was, and collapsed onto the couch scrolling through her phone. I watched her from the doorway. How many times had I ignored the feeling that I wasn't enough for her, that she wanted passion, chaos, drama, anything but the consistency I offered? She never said it directly, but her reactions, her tone, her little jabs, those had been clues all along. I just wasn't ready to accept them. But that laugh, that sentence, that moment, it was the last confirmation I needed. I walked into the bedroom, opened a drawer where I kept a small black box, and took it out. Inside was the gift I had planned to give her after dinner, 2 tickets for the weekend getaway she had been dreaming about. A place she mentioned months ago, but assumed I'd forget. Predictable, she had called me. Funny, because tonight I was about to be anything but. When I returned to the living room, she was still on her phone. She didn't even glance up when she said, "Did you bring my purse from the car?" "I forgot it." "No," I replied calmly, "but I left something for you on the kitchen table." She murmured, distracted. "You want to read it?" She finally looked up, curious. I walked outside before she reached the kitchen. My car engine hummed quietly in the driveway as I waited, watching the front door through the windshield. My heart was strangely steady, my mind clear in a way I hadn't experienced in years. Inside the kitchen, on the table, I had left the getaway tickets, the receipt, and a letter, short, sharp, honest. The porch lights flickered as she opened the front door. I saw her silhouette freeze. Then her hand rose to cover her mouth. She knew. She understood. And in that moment, her laugh no longer echoed in my head. Her silence did. She stood on the doorstep, scanning the driveway, searching for me with wide, stunned eyes. But the surprise she said I could never give, it had only just begun. I stayed in the car for a few minutes longer, just watching. Her breathing quickened as she picked up the envelope and the tickets. I could almost hear the gears turning in her mind, the realization settling in that I had orchestrated something she never saw coming. She turned slowly, scanning the empty driveway, the quiet street, and then the car. But I wasn't there. I didn't move. I didn't say a word. Her eyes darted to the front door, then back to the tickets in her hands. That's when the panic set in. The first spark of fear in a night she had so confidently dismissed me. The letter was short, not flowery, not pleading, not even angry, just clear. You said I never surprise you, so here's one. I'm leaving, not because I stopped loving you, not because I want revenge, but because I finally realized that love without respect is meaningless. Enjoy the getaway. Remember me kindly, but know I've chosen myself tonight. Her hands shook as she read the words. The laughter that had cut me earlier was gone. Her smug smile replaced by disbelief. Her eyes welled up, but she couldn't call out to me. She couldn't stop what had already begun. I walked down the street slowly, suitcase in hand, every step intentional. I didn't look back. The silence behind me was deafening. It wasn't anger that drove me, it was clarity. For years, I had ignored the little dismissals, the jokes at my expense, the small betrayals hidden behind casual words. Tonight, the balance had tipped, and I wasn't going to live in a house where my presence was invisible. As I reached the end of the block, I heard the front door slam, then footsteps. Quick, uneven, desperate. She was running, calling my name, but I didn't respond. I didn't turn around. She realized quickly that no surprise or plea would bring me back. Not tonight. Not ever. Her voice cracked. Ethan, wait. Don't do this. It was just a joke. I didn't mean it. I paused only for a heartbeat. Her apology, half-hearted and rushed, didn't reach me. I had learned long ago that words without sincerity are useless. Actions speak louder. And tonight, my actions spoke volumes. I got in the car and drove. Not far, not to escape entirely, but far enough to breathe, far enough to feel alive again. The city lights blurred as the realization hit me fully. I had given her the ultimate surprise, the moment I stopped being predictable. The night she would remember forever wasn't one of romance or gifts. It was a night I chose myself over her laughter at my expense. 2 hours later, I parked outside a small hotel I had reserved weeks ago, one she would never expect. I checked in, left my suitcase in the room, and sat quietly. For the first time in months, maybe years, my chest didn't feel heavy. The anxiety, the resentment, the feeling of invisibility, it was gone, replaced with something foreign and exhilarating. Freedom. Meanwhile, back at the apartment, I could imagine her pacing the floor, disbelief turning to fear, and fear turning to regret. That's the thing about being underestimated. You get to decide how they remember you. She had laughed at me tonight, mocked my predictability. And now, the joke was mine to tell silently from 1,000 miles away. The next day, messages flooded my phone. Texts from friends, her friends, even a few from her. They begged me to return, to talk, to explain. I didn't reply. Not immediately. I let her words hang in the void, just like she had let my feelings hang in the void for months. Years even. The power was mine now, and I was not giving it back. By nightfall, Lena realized the extent of the surprise. She called friends. She asked questions. She pieced together that I hadn't just left for the night, I had left for good. The shock was real now, the kind that leaves someone speechless, questioning every single joke, every dismissive laugh, every little casual insult they ever threw your way. And in that silence, she finally understood what she had lost. Weeks later, I returned, on my terms for closure, not reconciliation. The house was quiet. She had changed. Her laughter no longer carefree, no longer sharp. She tried to speak first, but I held up my hand. This time, I didn't need words. My presence alone, calm, collected, confident, said everything. You never surprised me, she whispered, barely audible. I did, I replied simply. And just like that, she understood. The ultimate surprise wasn't a gift or a grand gesture. It was my decision to value myself above her casual dismissals. I walked out of her life the way I had walked into the night before, on my terms, invisible yet unforgettable. And for the first time in years, I smiled, knowing that she would never see predictability in me again. Sometimes the greatest surprise isn't fireworks or roses. Sometimes it's realizing that the person who laughed at you all along isn't going to see you the same way ever again. And you never have to look back.